5G just got real. Well, not quite, but let's talk about how exactly Apple's introduction to the new iPhones really does change the playing field when it comes to the state of 5G in 2020. Let's get right into it.
Their marketing campaign is 5G just got real.
Oh my God, I've been seeing that literally everywhere, and it's really interesting, right? Because it's like 5G's been out for a while. There's been a ton of 5G phones. Like they've been in the market over 2020, but it's like the moment Apple releases the iPhone, they're like, okay, now like 5G is actually here. Because it's like Apple's only going to do it when it's established. Like that's what they're notorious for, right?
Literally that. Like Apple is most of the time not first with the tech, but they normally do it at a time when the tech is mature enough to actually provide benefits to the consumer.
Exactly, yeah.
A lot of the time, like in the past couple of years, we've been seeing like other manufacturers like throw the 5G stamp on a phone, right? Like throw it on a Samsung phone or something. But like most of the people that are buying that phone cannot actually use the 5G because the bandwidth isn't there, like the infrastructure and stuff. So it ends up just increasing the cost to make the phone, which then in turn increases the price of the phone with little to no benefit for the consumer.
Yeah.
So there hasn't been. And I think the 5G just got real. It's a little polarizing because on one hand, like obviously 5G's been here for a long time. A lot of brands have innovated to get it to the point where Apple can actually like use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And like have it be good, right? But I think that 5G just got real because a lot of the people in the United States use iPhone and Canada as well. When Apple puts the technology in their phone, they popularize it. The notch, right? We see like USB Type-C in the computers, the chipsets. Like there are a bunch of different things that Apple has done that then like gets done on other phones, like removing the headphone jack. Like they're kind of the trendsetters. So by Apple like being like, yes, 5G is like important, I think that it creates this thing where now we're going to see carriers really get into it, and there's going to be like this carrier war of like trying to create the best infrastructure and provide the best plans and stuff like that. And we're going to see other manufacturers put 5G in less expensive phones. What do you think? Like, is 5G in Canada like there yet, or is it still like very much in development?
So 5G in Canada is like actually pretty well established at this point. Like it's the infrastructure's there. Given though that it is here, it's still not where it should be. We're essentially we've created this entire kind of infrastructure over time that now, so basically the way the cell lines work in Canada, it's Rogers and Bell both own all the lines, like every single like cellular line across Canada. And it's very much every other service provider rents from them. So when it comes down to things like when I think like Verizon wanted to move to Canada, they wanted to come to Canada and set up shop here, like Rogers and Bell wouldn't let them do it because like they own everything. Yeah, it was like a huge thing. And so for that reason alone, like I think it's really interesting to see how 5G is going right now because it's been well set up to a point where like I can get 5G speeds, but like it's not gonna always be in like it's only for like the great metropolitan centers, the big metropolitan centers across Canada, from what I've noticed. But I don't know, sorry, I kind of rambled there, but basically to sum it all up into a tiny nice bow, basically with Canada right now and 5G is accessible and it is available, but it's a matter of like 5G isn't as established across like the rural or the less populated areas across Canada. So if you were to go to like, I want to say like Kingsville, Ontario, like odds of you having a proper 5G connection there is going to be very, very slim versus if you're in Toronto, you're going to get a huge, like a great cell reception and great cell service. So it very much does vary. And I feel like that's what the States too, right?
The States also, like if we look at like the state of 5G in 2020 in terms of like carriers and stuff like that, we have Verizon, T-Mobile and AT&T all taking very different approaches. So Verizon's coverage is kind of a little bit patchy because they're focused more on the ultra high speed, which means that you need a lot more of those like telephone poles. I don't even know if that's what they're called, but you need a lot more of like the infrastructure in close proximity in order for it to work. Whereas the lower bandwidth 5G that like doesn't provide as fast speeds, that you need a lot less infrastructure to do. But for like the really fast, like 1,000 down speeds, you do need a bunch of infrastructure. So like you could be on like a corner of a street and get really good connection, and then you can go around the building and have 4G connection. Whereas T-Mobile, they've had like a really different strategy where they focused on, while they use like some 28 gigahertz millimeter wave frequencies, they also use sub 600 frequencies, which means that they'll reach much further. So that will help with like suburban areas, but it's going to deliver lower speeds. So that just got really techy. But like the main thing is that it's two very different strategies. T-Mobile's strategy will mean that more people get 5G quicker, but it will also mean that their perception of the 5G speeds will be less because like they'll think like that the sub-6 speeds are like 5G, whereas the Verizon customers that get like the really high speed 5G will know that 5G is like the 1,000 down, which it will eventually be. And then Sprint is kind of, and who even like talks about Sprint anymore, but they're
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
pretty
like
fair. That's pretty fair.
they're kind
We
of
got
like
this front.
in the middle where like they're trying a little bit of both. So I think like the state of 5G in 2020 is like, do not buy a phone just to get 5G. But if you're planning on keeping a phone for 3 years, Apple, by adding 5G to their iPhone, has future-proofed it, because 3 years from now, I think that 5G will be a really big thing. So a lot of iPhone customers keep their phones for multiple years, so it makes sense for Apple to add the technology now in hopes that it becomes popular 3 years from now.